Okay, so before I start this video, if you're in desperate need of help, as in you're on the brink of suicide, can you do it any minute from now? Go down to my description box below. Also go down to my comments below. I have a bunch of links down below there that will give you much better help than I ever could. So please, if you're on the brink, stop watching my video. Go check those out. But if you are now a young man who isn't really on the brink of suicide, but is fighting with like suicidal thoughts, depression, those sort of things, I actually do think I want to start this video by telling you when I had these thoughts and how I got around them. So yeah, it was probably around the ages of 12 up to 17, even 18. I used to come home from school some days and just not have good thoughts in my mind. I remember there was one day my mom was driving me home and I wanted to jump out of the car. I actually even opened the car door and was about to jump. Didn't jump out of the car. Wanted to jump off, like we live in a 2-floor house. Wanted to jump down from there. Even had this thought, not suicidal thought, but like self-harm thoughts, where I wanted to go up to like random walls and like just bang my head against it until like I get brain damage or something like that. And these were like the everyday thoughts, not everyday, but almost everyday thoughts that I had, especially around the age of, I would say 15, maybe 16 years old. And yeah, I know it's rough when you're in that space. Oftentimes you don't really know what the cause of it is, but oftentimes you do. In my case, frankly, it was loneliness. I struggled to get girls. I often spoke about that on my channel. And after a while, that, of course, does give you a bit of scars. You start to think that you're going to die alone. You start to think that you're just undesirable. And believe me, that actually never is the case. Your brain often makes things feel and sound worse than what it really is. I remember there was one day when, basically, I didn't even ask her this girl, but she found out through whichever means, I can't remember, that I had a crush on her, and that absolutely wrecked me because they weren't even mean about it. Like, she wasn't mean about it, her friends weren't mean about it, she just found out and that was that. But that feeling of knowing that here's another girl I had a crush on, another girl that basically rejected me, it stings because you start worrying, whether you're aware of it or not, that, as I said, you're just going to be alone for the rest of your life. So you get the general idea of the roots of my problems, and actually I do want to touch something else now. The loneliness was one aspect, and arguably my biggest aspect, because I also didn't have many friends at that age, or rather I had a decent bit of friends, but not friends I could rely on. I think that's a better way to phrase it. I had one or two, fair enough, but not the majority weren't friends you could truly rely on. I think added to which I didn't really have a support system in my family. No problem from them. It was actually just me being afraid of opening up to them. They did nothing wrong, I believe. I was just a bit timid to open up. So you are, for the large part, dealing with these problems in isolation. So in light of that, I actually do recommend that you open up to someone, preferably even a friend, close brother, close whoever is nearby. If it's not your parents, a friend. Open up to them. They can help you through your situation much better than I ever could. But if you don't have the support system, as I believed I didn't, I do have a Discord server, and please do join that. Actually, literally last night I got this message from a young man, one of my boys in my server, and basically told me that one of my videos saved him from suicide. And the simple thing of knowing that I have the power to have that sort of impact gives me a lot of pride, but also a lot of responsibility. And that's a big reason why I've actually changed the direction of my channel to directly target you, the young man. So really do feel free to join my Discord server. Because I'm still a relatively small YouTuber at the moment, I really do have the time and all of that to help you one-on-one. When I get bigger, I genuinely will still try my best, but also at that point I'll like hire people to help me out with my mission. So in any case, you are covered. Come to my server, I'll sort everything out for you. Now, beyond getting help from me or friends, family, whatever the case is, what I do believe you do need to do is start working out. And this is going to sound very off like topic and everything, but bear with me. What working out did for me, and I hope it has the same effect for you, it gave me this constant thing of knowing that I'm working towards something. So like at the moment, I'm actually not working out for the sake of gaining muscle. I've gained a decent bit of muscle, but it's not not my goal anymore. But when you first get into working out, you are going to enjoy seeing the daily gains from working out. You have this inner knowledge that every day that you go to the gym, you are going to see some muscle gain from it. And that keeps happening for weeks, months, even years. And that just fills a bit of a void that I believe a lot of young men have. Now, obviously, that for me is still a surface level fix though. It's like you have a wound on your arm and you put a band-aid over it. Sure, it does stop the blood from coming out and all of that, but it isn't fixing the root of the problem. But I do believe it gets into a position where you can start stabilizing your mind so you can actually work to the roots of the problem. So once you've gone through that working out phase, or better yet, you already have gone through the working out phase, then deal with the problem head on. What I mean by this, say, is loneliness. Sure, you can go out, cold approach women, become better at dating, watch my dating videos, watch other people's dating videos, and find out how to be better at approaching girls, better at dating, better at all of the attraction level stuff. But also, don't limit it to just dating. Limit it, or expand it rather, to finding a good friend. Chances are you have one or two in your life already. You just don't really recognize them as a good friend because you're in the slum now thinking that you're lonely. But once you recognize who those good friends are, speak to them. Speak to them about your problem, and even if you're not speaking to them about your problem, spend quality time with them. Chances are you have one or two guys that you spend a lot of time with. I do advise against getting too heavy into gaming with them and all those sorts of things. If your brother games, that's fine. I just don't think gaming is a proper way to connect with one of your brothers. Sure, you are socializing, but if you think about it, you're not really growing a bond together. You're both growing a bond with the game, and they just happen to be playing the game with you. What I recommend is this is the guy that you sit down with and talk about your life's ambitions with. I understand that now you're a bit young and you don't really know what you want to do in the long term of your life, and that's fine. I will be making videos on that to guide you on that, in fact. But until then, you probably do have something other than games or something like that motivates you day to day now. Whether it be working out, whether it be academics, whether it be sports, there would be something that might seem a bit small still, but you can talk to your brother about that and he can motivate you, or you can even work on it together, depending on what it is. You might want to start a mini business. That's how you actually build your, I don't want to say network because that sounds now too formal, but your brotherhood, for lack of better words. Sending memes and all of that, even though that actually gets a bad rep in this self-development space, I actually think sending memes is perfectly fine. That grows your bond together, because here's the thing with that compared to the games. The games, you're too busy focusing on the strategy of the game, all of those things. The meme is okay, this person has a similar interest to me. Because for argument's sake, I remember one of my close friends, is still a close friend of mine till today. We used to send each other football memes and all of that. And that used to genuinely brighten up my day sometimes. It sounds lame, but I admit that it used to. And I do believe that has contributed to building our bond till this day. So it gets a bad rap in the space, and I still do agree, don't get me wrong. I do want to emphasize to anyone who's new to self-development, do not spend your whole day on social media. Limit it to even half an hour is long, and I mean that, but half an hour, fine. Set that as your upper limit. But if you want to give or get my suggestion, 10 minutes max. You probably heard also now, quick side note, but I got into stuttering all of that, and in the past, I would generally try to edit that out or do whatever. But that's part of my new mission of this channel. I'm leaving my stuttering, all of that. So I don't know. I've found out in this self-development space, there's a lot of influencers who try to seem perfect and all of that, and I think that's causing more harm than good. The intention is good. The intention is to provide a perfect role model to follow his footsteps in. But what I've been finding, at least with the boys in my Discord server, that's been creating too much of a burden, too much pressure on them. But anyway, back to the topic of this video. So the social side, if that's the problem. But you might have another problem. It might be academics. You might be sitting there well, I'm not smart enough, I'm getting bad grades, whatever. For that, you can easily find ways to fix it. I know I'm making things sound way simpler than what they are, but think about it. Have you truly experimented with a lot of study methods? You probably haven't. You probably tried one, maybe two, and now just said, oh, okay, I'm not smart. But if you experiment and see what works best for you, believe me, you'll find something that actually, at the very least, improves your grades. Because, for example, I used to be a slightly above average student, but not like a top performing student. And I tried many study methods and all of that. Eventually, I found one that clicked for me. For me, it happened to be just get a general idea of the content, then dive in straight into past papers. And I do believe that will work for a lot of you, but you haven't tried it yet. So take that as my advice if you haven't tried it yet. Find as many past paper questions you can find and do them. That will help you on the academic front. Now, if you are in a situation where it hits closer to home, like family and those sort of things, I want to provide you all the answers, I really do. But in that one, it does become a bit tougher, I have to admit to you. Something I probably am not experienced enough to help you in, but what I would recommend, at least, find some way somehow to find someone in the family, whether it be an uncle, auntie, someone like that, who you can confide in and speak to about the situation you have at home. Hopefully, that will help you out, but I can't guarantee it depending on the specifics of your situation. I know this is kind of like a low point for you now, where I've like give you all these answers and now suddenly one of them I'm not. But what I do say again, check out my Discord server, links will be down below. Check out my Discord server, and depending on like the specifics of your scenario, I'll either help you myself or guide you to someone that can help you. But I think this puts you in good stead for how to overcome these things. It looks dark now, it really does. At a point in time, I really did believe that my life wasn't going to pan out in a way that I would have liked. And frankly, fair enough, I'm only 22 now, I have a lot of life to live. But I can just see by the way my life is going on, genuinely thanks to God, and of course, like the work I put in and all of that. But I can see now that I am very much on a path where I can look back on my life and have a lot of pride in what has happened, but leaving pride aside even. Just plain be happy. Happy in my 70s, happy in my 80s, happy about the moments I've had now, but also the moments I'll be having then. What did I say, bro? I'll see you in the next one. To become a better man.